The humming of fluorescent lights echoes through the empty hallway. A cleaning crew pushes a cart past an open office. Inside, a lone desk lamp burns beside two monitors. A man in his mid-40s sits calmly typing. Meet Daniel Shaw, not his real name. No one pays attention to Daniel. He's one of hundreds of analysts at the Treasury's Office of Financial Risk and Compliance. His ID badge checks out. His background passed all the clearances: Ivy League education, clean financial history, polite, invisible. But Daniel isn't who he says he is. For the past 6 years, Daniel has been building something, quietly, methodically, not a fortune, not even a profile. He's been building access to servers that few people know exist, access to dormant accounts that were supposed to have been wiped from the system, access to the blind spots, those tiny gaps between departments where oversight ends and silence begins. He calls it the gray zone, a digital pocket of the Treasury's internal system hidden behind legacy code and outdated permissions, untouchable, invisible, and under his complete control. INT Treasury Cafe. Earlier that day, Daniel sits alone, reading the Wall Street Journal. Headlines scream of inflation, debt ceilings, and billion-dollar bailouts. No one notices that he isn't reading, he's observing, listening. Every conversation, every complaint from his coworkers, he catalogs it. He knows which system administrator is going through a divorce, which supervisor drinks on the job, and which intern uses the same password for every account. It's all leverage, all fuel. A colleague nods at him. Colleague: big audit coming up, you ready? Daniel, smiling. Always. But Daniel's audit is something far different. He's not just auditing numbers, he's auditing flaws, vulnerabilities, human ones. INT Daniel's apartment. Night bookshelves line the walls. Mostly economic theory, cryptography, behavioral psychology. On the table, a chessboard mid-game, both sides played by him. He doesn't own a TV, no social media. His phone is a burner. He opens his laptop, encrypted, triple firewalled. No one knows this machine exists. He logs into the gray zone. The screen flickers to life, an interface of raw data, dormant accounts, obscure transaction pathways, unclaimed funds, and Treasury-issued bonds long since forgotten. He doesn't take anything, not yet. Tonight is just another rehearsal, another dry run, and another test of the FBI's digital tripwires. So far, they haven't noticed a thing. Flashback. INT Orphanage. Years ago, a teenage boy, younger Daniel, watches silently as a caseworker locks up files in a cabinet. He already knows how to pick it, already knows no one will come for him. He learned young that the system only works if no one questions it. So, he became the question no one asks. Back to present. Internal Treasury Data Center. Night, a badge scanner flashes green. Daniel walks in under the guise of a late-night system check. He stops by a secured workstation, connects a tiny drive to the terminal. The upload takes 4.3 seconds. An innocuous script, harmless-looking, cleverly labeled as a backup diagnostic tool. But it's a seed, a digital backdoor, a thread in the maze he's been weaving. As he walks out, a security guard barely glances up. Security guard. Working late, Mr. Shaw? Daniel smiles. You know me. Just trying to keep the government running. The guard laughs. Daniel walks away. He's not trying to keep the government running. He's preparing to rob it. INT FBI Cyber Operations Center. Same night on the 7th floor of a different building, an alert flickers on a screen. Just one, buried among thousands, a tiny anomaly in Treasury traffic flow, off by a fraction of a second. The agent monitoring it glances up, frowns, then clicks, dismiss. Just noise. INT Daniel's apartment. Later that night, he pours himself a glass of water, opens his notebook, handwritten. Inside are coordinates, dates, exchange rates, server access codes, exit routes. And at the top of the page, D-Day, T30 days. He stares at the numbers for a moment, then closes the notebook. Everything is in place. He's not just stealing money. He's erasing himself from the system, forever. The FBI doesn't even know he exists yet. It begins with a simple request. Daniel submits an internal form requesting limited access to a long-forgotten system used during the 2008 financial crisis. The system, known as FMS Legacy, contains backup accounts, dormant wire routes, and outdated transaction logs that were never fully decommissioned, just buried. His request is approved without question. It's marked as audit-related. By now, Daniel has spent nearly 5 years preparing. He's tested scripts, rerouted packets, and disguised probes through internal audits. Nothing has raised alarms. The FBI, NSA, and internal Treasury cybersecurity have never seen him coming. INT, Treasury Office, Monday 2:12 a.m. Daniel logs in from his office. The building is nearly empty. Only night staff and janitors are around. He connects to the FMS legacy system through a remote shell disguised as a backup sync protocol. On his second monitor, he opens a series of pre-written scripts. First, he triggers a false server backup. The system goes into a maintenance state, delaying any alerts or duplicate record checks for 6 hours. Next, he initiates diversion scripts. Small, insignificant anomalies in other Treasury systems meant to draw attention away from the legacy gateway. Several monitoring agents start chasing ghost problems in entirely unrelated databases. With the distractions running, Daniel gets to work. NT, Daniel's terminal, 2:26 a.m. He locates 17 dormant escrow accounts. These are legitimate, but the funds were never claimed, usually due to bureaucratic failure or legal disputes. The money is real, but the ownership is gray. He begins transferring the funds, not directly, but through a chain of shell corporations, crypto tumblers, and foreign clearinghouses. Step by step, $82 million begins to dissolve into a series of international holding wallets. Each transaction is split into thousands of micropayments. Every single piece is disguised as a financial compliance test, automated through code. In the span of 34 minutes, the full $82 million is gone from U.S. control, scattered globally, anonymized, and irretrievable. INT Data Security Division. Same time. A Treasury firewall logs a discrepancy. An alert is generated. Traffic spike. Unusual packet formatting. The system tags it as low priority. It's labeled as part of the authorized server backup Daniel triggered earlier. The junior analyst monitoring it is half asleep. He sees the maintenance label and ignores it. INT, Daniel's office, 3:05 a.m. The transfer is complete. The money no longer exists inside any U.S. account. Daniel deletes the diversion scripts, wipes his access logs, and restores the server to its original state. He runs a deep clean utility that deletes every trace of his presence, authorized or otherwise. Lastly, he sends one last command: delete backdoor protocol 47. With a keystroke, even the secret gateway, the gray zone, collapses, like it was never there. INT. Treasury main server room. Later that morning at 9 a.m., Treasury officials notice a strange gap in one of their monthly ledgers. Not a full missing sum, just a slight mismatch in long-term bond interests. They mark it for audit. Nobody is panicked. These things happen. INT. FBI Cybercrime Division. 1 week later, the Treasury officially reports a theft, but by the time the FBI gets involved, the money is untraceable. The systems involved no longer exist. The accounts are closed, the servers wiped, the scripts gone. Every trace points to legitimate activity: server maintenance, auditing routines, normal permissions. No camera caught Daniel, no fingerprint exists. Not even a timestamp links him to the moment of the heist. He didn't just rob the government, he outsmarted the system built to prevent it. Daniel Shaw stole $82 million from the United States Treasury in under an hour, and when the FBI looked, all they found was a ghost. A digital red flag finally forces its way to the top of the Bureau's priority list. $82 million. Gone. Not misallocated. Not misplaced. Stolen. The call comes in from the Department of the Treasury's Internal Audit Unit. Anomalies were discovered during a quarterly review. Funds missing from a cluster of dormant escrow and bond-holding accounts. all connected to legacy infrastructure no one had touched in over a decade. Within minutes, the case is transferred to the FBI Cybercrime Division. By noon, a full task force is formed. INT FBI conference room, same day. Special Agent Maya Rios, early 40s, sharp, no nonsense, leads the first briefing. Projected on the screen: Fraud Code 919, Federal Theft, $82 million, Treasury Systems. RIOS. This isn't your average cyber thief. This is internal. This is surgical. Someone inside that building knew exactly where to strike. Across the room, analysts, code breakers, and financial forensics experts sift through lines of code, transaction logs, and system access records. There's nothing unusual. Every entry is clean, every login authorized. No flagged IPs, no brute force attempts, no suspicious badge scans, nothing. Internal FBI Digital Forensics Lab, Day 8, Agent Caleb Yoon, a Korean-American tech analyst, runs network traffic analysis. He notices something odd: a server backup logged on the exact night the money disappeared. That backup, however, triggered no corresponding user request. He flags it. Digging deeper, he finds packet irregularities, timing inconsistencies in how data traveled during that backup. Yoon, to himself: it's not a backup, it's a cover. He presents it to Rios. She stares at the screen. Rios: so someone faked an entire maintenance operation just to disappear under our radar? Yoon: and they wrote code cleaner than half our systems. Whoever did this didn't just hack us. They knew us. INT Treasury Department. Interrogation Room. Day 9. Over the next 48 hours, the FBI interviews more than 60 employees, IT staff, analysts, even janitors. Everyone is clean. No one remembers anything suspicious. No missing equipment, no new hires, no strange behavior. Then Rios asks a question no one else had thought to ask. Rios: who had access to the FMS legacy system? The room goes silent. Most people don't even know what that system is. An old manager responds hesitantly. Manager: only a few audit-level analysts, some cleared to trace forgotten bond holdings, mostly for reconciliation work. He hands her a printed list. 23 names, cross-checked with access logs. But here's the problem. None of those names accessed the system on the night of the theft. INT FBI War Room. Day 10. They bring in behavioral profilers. The theory forms. The thief worked inside Treasury. He didn't need to break in. He was already authorized. He knew how to distract digital watchdogs. He knew exactly which accounts would trigger the least suspicion. Rios: this wasn't a hacker. This was a ghost in the system. Someone we let in. Someone we shook hands with. INT Global Financial Monitoring Center. Day 13. Yoon runs a blockchain trace, what little there is. The stolen funds, now converted into cryptocurrency, were fragmented across hundreds of wallets, run through 5 tumblers, and routed through 6 countries, including South Korea. The last traceable node: a private offshore account processed through a Seoul-based digital clearinghouse. Yoon: South Korea. That's our first real lead. ENT. FBI Briefing Room. Day 14. Rios pins a map to the wall. U.S. Treasury digital transfer offshore shells. Crypto nodes, Korea, Rios. He left the country. Question is, how? There's no passport record, no flights, no customs entry, nothing. The room falls silent. Somewhere out there, a man has disappeared with $82 million and walked right out of the most secure financial system in the world, without a single alarm sounding. And now, the FBI realizes they aren't chasing a thief. They're chasing a phantom. Agent Maya Rios stands in front of a timeline. The clock is ticking. All exit points are being analyzed. Airports, bus terminals, seaports. Yet not a single record shows a man matching their suspect's profile leaving the country. No airline manifest, no TSA footage, no passport swipe. But the money trail leads to Seoul. Someone got there. Internal FBI Digital Division, night. Caleb Yoon stares at customs footage from Dulles International Airport. Frame by frame, he scrubs video from the day after the heist. A flight departed to Tokyo, then a connection to Incheon International in South Korea. Passenger logs are clean, no anomalies, until he notices something strange. Yoon. Wait, who's that? At gate C7, a man is helping an elderly Korean couple with their bags. His face is turned away from the camera. He's wearing an airport staff vest. There's no official log of him working that shift. He never shows up again. Yoon enhances the footage. The frame isn't perfect, but the man's posture and frame match the mystery profile built from Treasury's internal camera angles. It's him. ENT, FBI conference room, day 16. Rios briefs the team. Rios, he didn't leave as a passenger. He left as a worker. They confirm the theory. The man used a stolen airport contractor ID, swiped from a dead database of terminated vendors that was never fully purged. He walked through security using a barcode badge and carried 2 duffel bags. Once on board, he entered the cargo hold of the Tokyo-bound flight just before final checks. Customs was never alerted. The system thought he was airline personnel. INT, private airplane hangar, Japan. Day 17. New intel comes in from Japanese authorities. A security report from Narita Airport, one of the crew on a private charter to Seoul, requested clearance for a last-minute cargo adjustment. Flight logs show an unaccounted weight discrepancy in the luggage manifest, too small to matter to the airline, too large to ignore now. The manifest lists 10 passengers. Surveillance shows 11 people boarding, 1 in cargo uniform. The 11th person is never seen disembarking in Japan, because he wasn't meant to. He boarded flight JD119X to Seoul on a private Gulfstream under no name. INT. Seoul, undisclosed location. Day 20. Somewhere in the winding streets of Itaewon, South Korea, a man walks into a private clinic. He pays in cash. The clinic specializes in high-end cosmetic alterations. 2 hours later, his facial structure is scanned. In 1 week, it will be surgically modified. He's already gone by then. INTA FBI HQ, Day 21. The FBI reaches out to Interpol and South Korea's National Police Agency. Interpol issues a red notice, but it's nearly useless. No name, no clear photo, no fingerprints, no passport. Rios. He knew we'd chase him. He planned every second of this. Back in D.C., Rios takes one last look at Daniel Shaw's desk at the Treasury. Everything is gone. Not a single trace remains. His emails are clean. His personnel file was edited weeks before the heist to show a fake resignation. To the government, Daniel Shaw doesn't exist. INT, Seoul, subway station. 1 month later, a man boards Line 6 heading toward Dongmyo. He wears a hoodie, sunglasses, and a mask. Nothing unusual. He taps a card to the turnstile. It's prepaid with cryptocurrency via a shell startup. No name, no identity. Just a man with no history, carrying a new face and a silent fortune. He disappears into the crowd. INT, FBI press room. Day 30. A journalist asks, Journalist, do you believe this man is still in South Korea? Rios, brief pause. I believe he could be anywhere, but more importantly, he doesn't want to be found, and so far, he's succeeding. The man who stole $82 million from the United States Treasury vanished without a passport, without a name, and without leaving a single thread to pull. The world's most dangerous financial ghost had disappeared, and the FBI was left chasing a myth. The whiteboard is still up, strings of red yarn crisscross between faces, flagged accounts, encrypted wallets, server logs, and a blurry frame from Dulles Airport Gate C7. But progress is slow, leads have dried up, the case is still open, but momentum is fading. Agent Maya Rios walks into the room alone now. Most of her team has moved on to other investigations. Financial crimes units are overloaded. Even at $82 million, priorities shift. She sits in front of the board and mutters to herself, Rios. We don't even know if Daniel Shaw was his real name. INT, Seoul. Private apartment, night. The man sits by the window of a high-rise overlooking the Han River. No lights, no sounds. He sips tea, scrolling through a burner phone that has no contacts, no stored messages, and will be destroyed by morning. The apartment is minimalist. No photos, no personal items, no fingerprints. He doesn't stay in one place more than a week. Every expense, rent, food, transportation, is prepaid through a lattice of crypto-backed, AI-run shell corporations that route payments through offshore networks. The money is not spent fast. In fact, he rarely touches it. He didn't do it for the lifestyle. He did it because he could. Internal FBI field briefing. 6 months after the heist, a junior agent presents findings from a South Korean crypto investigation. Agent: we found a wallet believed to be linked to the stolen funds, but the transaction route splits it across 83 chains in 9 seconds, then it vanishes again. Rios sighs. Rios. He's not spending it, he's hiding it, testing the system, seeing how far he can push us. The room is quiet, no one argues. They all know the truth. The man isn't just a thief, he's a tactician, a ghost engineered by the system he betrayed. NT, South America, airport lounge, night. 6,000 miles away, a different man scans his boarding pass at a private airstrip in Ecuador. He has no luggage, no phone, no digital trail. His face? Subtly different. Jawline altered, eye color changed. His prints? Burned and altered through a chemical process. His ID? Perfectly forged. He boards a flight under the name Luis Ortega. Destination: Istanbul. In a USB stick taped beneath his belt buckle, wallet keys to $11 million in crypto. Untouched since the heist. And that's only a fraction. Ent. FBI. Internal status memo. 1 year later. Case: Treasury breach. Daniel Shaw, alias. Status: open, unsolved financial recovery. 0 known. Alias: unknown, current. Whereabouts: unknown risk assessment. High notes. Subject is considered highly intelligent, technically sophisticated, and emotionally detached. Unlikely to surface through conventional means. Suspected of possessing deep knowledge of law enforcement operations. Do not engage without cyber division support. Rios stares at the memo. It's been a year. The trail is cold. But somewhere out there, the man is still watching, waiting. Int. Unknown location. Night. He opens a laptop. No internet, just an encrypted drive. Inside, a list of names, former intelligence officials, high-value assets, dormant accounts. Another heist? Number something else. He deletes the list. He's not chasing money now, he's watching the watchers. The system that built him is still vulnerable. The question is no longer, will he strike again? But what will he do with the power he now holds? Because once you steal from the government and get away with it, you're no longer just a criminal. You're a myth. The end.